Welcome to the Mirage Stamp System training video. In this video, we'll also feature a look at a Redo It system application, the Aqua Plus system, and the patina stain surface. It's best if you work off an equipment list to make sure that you have everything you'll need for the job. We have bins and several bags of ice. Run the mixing water through the bins. You don't have to open the ice bags. They'll cool the poured-in mixing water. Use the shade or make some shade to keep the mixed material out of the sun. It's particularly important year-round in southern climates and in June, July, and August in the northern states. Now make sure that you work from that equipment checklist that your lead guy signs and dates every day before the truck leaves. For surface preparation, edge it and power wash it. The primer comes dry. Mix with 2 empty clean pails. Split 3.5 gallons of water between the 2 pails. Split the primer and mix good for 5 minutes. Then put the 2 pails together and using the large cone mixer, remix for another 5 minutes. Cracks in the old concrete are repaired by first using a 4-inch die grinder with a crack chaser blade to open or clean all the cracks. Put 2 coats of primer on those cracks. First, fill the cracks with patch leveling material. Then place nylon tape down. Cut the tape to the size of the crack. Once in place, apply a skim coat over the tape. If cracks are small, just fill them to grade, and if it settles, add more material into the crack. Next, after using a chalk line to define the 10-inch borders in our Mirage texture stamp surface, use the forming tape to mark them out. Walk on top of the tape to assure it's tight to the concrete. Once in place, apply 2 coats of primer in the south and 3 in the northern climates. We're using Mirage Dark Gray for the borders with charcoal highlights. First, roll the pails to loosen the material, making it easier for it to flow into the mixing pails. Use a clean pail and add half of the 3/4 gallon of mixing water. Add in a cup of primer and mix well. Next, slowly add in the texture mix. Mix well and scrape off the sides of the pail. Pour in the remaining water while mixing. Mix at least 2 to 3 pails to start on a larger border project. You want to get this consistency. Here's where we mixed the liquid release. Using a funnel, we've added 4 cups of charcoal color and mixing with a release mixer that fits right into the spout of the 5-gallon pail. It's very important you mix it from 8 to 10 minutes. Use the hand pump sprayer to spray the release on the surface as well as the stamping tools. You can vary the stamp design by rotating the stamp each time. While it's still soft, you can use the roller tool to add grout lines in the borders every 12 inches. We'll leave the release on the surface till tomorrow. In cooler climates, the release can stay on for several days. In hot climates, the release can be cleaned off the same day. Any excess border material outside the border must be removed now while it's still easy to get up. And don't forget to pull up all the border forming tape the same day, or it's going to be very hard to get off. When we started the inserts, we placed the blue tape along both sides of the border. We cut the contractor brown paper to protect the border, taped it in place, and walked on it to get a tight fit. For the inserts, we're using Mirage Silver with charcoal highlights. Apply at least 2 coats of primer if you're located in southern states and 3 coats in the northern states. Rolling the pails helps to loosen the dry mix. Start with a clean 5-gallon pail, adding half of the 3/4 gallon of ice water, a half cup of primer, then the powder. In hot weather, it'll take 3 or 4 more ounces of water. Mix at least 3 pails as a start, then keep the pails coming to fill the inserts. Use the gauge rake. It sets the depth of the material at 3/8 of an inch. You can test the surface to see if it's ready to stamp by putting your finger in the mix. If it holds its shape, you can apply the liquid release to both the surface and the stamps. Rotate the stamps and overlap them. Pull the brown paper and the blue tape only if the surface is really hard. And don't leave the brown paper down overnight. Rain could cause staining on the borders from the brown paper. Once all the blue tape and cover paper are cleared, use the die grinder and a regular diamond blade to cut between the inserts and the borders. Going back over it a second time with a chaser blade will give a bevel finish and a better look to the project. Keep the surface wet at all times. The concrete cleaner and water are used to wash off the release. Go slow with this process and use a circular motion to get the appearance you want. Make sure the surface is totally dry before sealing. Use a high-quality roller cover like a Purdy or a Worcester with a 3/4 inch nap. The color comes alive with the Ultra Sheen 6000 or 7000. Wait 4 hours between the first and the second coat. And next up, an easy, eye-catching technique with the Redo It resurface system. We're mixing the gray Redo It mix. First, adding a cup of primer into a clean bucket with 1 1/4 gallons of water and mixing. Next, mix in 2 cups of sandstone color. Water, primer, and color are thoroughly mixed before we add the dry mix. Put down 2 coats of primer, then the mixed material. Moving with the magic trowel and avoiding trowel marks. The next day, Remove any high spots or trowel marks with a cup grinder. Measure, and then with a chalk line, set up your 10-inch interior borders. Use 2 widths of blue tape, and then the forming tape. Walking on it to assure a tight fit to the concrete. Open the tape intersection for a continuous border run. Mix water, primer, and 4 cups of charcoal color first, and then add in the Redo It dark gray material and mix well. The magic trowel gives us a smooth, even surface. When dry, carefully pull the blue and the forming tape. The next day, apply 2 coats of Ultra Sheen High Gloss Sealer, either solvent for garage floors or water-based for basement floors. An easy, quick method that has a lot of customer appeal. The combination of Redo It and Aqua Plus water-based stains bring an exciting new dimension to the overlay arena. The system is easy to apply and can be used by mixing 2 different colors of Redo It material, then blending them into the surface. Redo It has proven to be a very cost-effective system to restore ugly, aged concrete. Here's what you'll need for equipment: an acid brush, pressure washer, pump sprayer, spike shoes, a drill with a cone mixer, 2 large tubs for ice, a garden hose, measuring cups, roller, and roll covers. Here's a step-by-step guide to help you achieve beautiful, customer-pleasing results. To assure a clean concrete surface, and that's important, sweep it off, wet it down, and use Aqua Plus cleaner, etcher, and degreaser. You can dilute it up to 2 to 1. However, it works much better at full strength. A long handle acid brush and a light scrubbing action works best. Pressure washing is next. These basics are necessary even if you're only doing an Aqua Plus stain, a Mirage stamp overlay, or the Redo It systems separately. Here we're installing a Redo It system, and then later we're going to show you how to use the Aqua Plus water-based stains in combination with the Redo It system. Now make sure you check that surface temperature before starting any type of Redo It or Mirage overlay system. The temperature handgun from any auto supply store is a great help to get a reading on that surface temperature ahead of time. Next, you need to put down the primer. You'll need 3 coats. The primer comes dry in a 5-gallon pail. Add from 3 to 3.5 gallons of cold water. When mixed, you'll get enough for up to 1,000 square feet from each pail. Put about 4 bags of ice in a tub, run in the water, and use that cold water to mix with. That primer will dry clear. And remember, it's 3 coats. The Redo It pail will cover up to 80 square feet, so you can figure how many pails you'll need. We'll start with the gray Redo It, and then we'll add in the beige and sandstone integral colors. We'll mix 6 pails here, 3 beige and 3 sandstone. Roll each pail to loosen it up. We're mixing a little extra primer here to add to the Redo It. Our successful contractors all say, work out of direct sunlight, and if you can't find shade, make it. Now with 1 gallon of the cold water in each of our 6 mixing pails, we're adding in a scoop of primer, further assurance of a good bond. Next, add the color to the liquid and mix it first with the cone mixer. Mix at least 2 minutes to make sure the pigment is thoroughly blended. We added about a half cup to each pail. 3 pails got the beige, and the other 3 got the sandstone. Now it's time to add the dry, gray Redo It to each pail, mixing at least 2 to 3 minutes, and sometimes adding another ounce or 2 of water. The spike shoes will let you get out onto the surface. We put down a pail of sandstone, then a pail of beige, blending them together with a magic trowel with a long handle. Some contractors spray the material on, adding more water to the mix, and some use a roller. However, we feel the magic trowel works the best. The next day, the final touch. Choose a solvent base Ultra Sheen 6000 or water base exterior Ultra Sheen 1000 sealer. Apply lightly, waiting at least 4 hours, and applying a second coat. And use a Purdy or an equally high quality roller cover when applying any sealers. Nice job. And now we'll cover the way our Aqua Plus water-based stains can complement the Redo It surface. It's the proven Redo It process. Roll the pails to loosen it up. Mix with cold water from the ice-filled tub. And we're mixing up a base coat of white Redo It. Once the surface has cured for a day or two, you can add the Aqua Plus stain. Aqua Plus water-based stains come in 10 colors in convenient 1 or 5-gallon pails. For this project, we'll have a blue aqua-based stain base with highlights of Aqua Plus light gray for highlights. We use a pump sprayer for best results. However, some roll it on and others use sponges. We cut the blue only 25%, which makes the stain really strong. When it's dry, you'll have to wash the residue off, both the base color as well as the gray highlights, with a garden hose and an acid brush. When the blue base coat is dry, apply the gray highlights. You can cut the stain up to 3 to 4 times, depending on the shade that you want to achieve. Use our water base Ultra Sheen 1000. Apply 2 coats, waiting at least 4 hours between coats. This is a proven method. If you need it, assistance is just minutes away. Our 2-part training video includes both the patina stain and the pigmented sealer methods of concrete coloration. Our patina stain offers unlimited possibilities for an existing new surface. With the patina stain, the caution we want to mention is that you need to make sure the surface had not been sealed. You can find out by just pouring a cup of water on the surface. If it's absorbed into the concrete, you're good to go. If, on the other hand, it sits on top, well, you can use our sealer stripper or grind the surface with a floor grinder. If you're not sure of your surface and feel the stain might not take the way you want, you can place a skim coat of the texture material over the surface, like we're doing here. Let it cure for 2 days, and then start the process. Once the surface is clean and dry, mix the stain thoroughly. Mixing well integrates the material that tends to settle at the bottom of the pail. Patina stains look best when you use 2 different stain coats. Now here's a good combination of an English amber base coat and sprays of mocha. However, it's optional. You don't have to use 2 coats. And when you fill your pump sprayer, always do it off the surface to avoid leaving a permanent ring stain on your project. Here we're filling the pump sprayer with the base coat. We're spraying it on evenly. Leave the stain on the surface for 4 hours or overnight. And now we're ready to add highlighting, applying here and there at random. And let it sit for 4 hours. And the next step is to wash the surface. Use a garden hose, and then with a 5-gallon pail of water and a 1/4 box of baking soda to neutralize the entire surface. Make sure you thoroughly rinse it off. Let the surface totally dry and then seal with either our water-based sealers or solvent-based sealers. Use 2 coats and leave 4 hours drying time between them. Always use caution tape throughout the entire process to prevent anyone from walking on the surface. Now, if you want to spray on Onyx Black, but you find it's too black, you can cut it with a cut. and a cut is 25% acid and 75% water. Use a cut, not straight water or acid. An interior application can be enhanced by applying from 4 to 5 coats of a high-quality commercial floor wax. We offer patina stain in 10 different colors. We're always ready to field technical calls. When applying one of our pigmented sealers, you first need to make sure the surface had not been previously sealed with a solvent-based sealer. And since our surface had been sealed, we applied our stripper and then pressure washed the surface. Mix the water-based sealer first for 5 minutes. Mix in the pigment for at least 7 minutes to get a good blend. You'll find some colors take 2 bottles of pigment, and they'll come with your order. With roller and pan, apply the first coat. Wait 6 hours or till the next day to apply the second coat. With some colors, you may need 3 coats. However, when the sealer is cured, it hardens like an epoxy. Always use a high-quality half-inch roller head like a Purdy. We offer brown pigment. However, if you want, say, a light color like tan or sandstone, then you should add a full bottle of white pigment. And then you could add a small amount of brown, starting with an ounce. And if that's too light, add another ounce till you get the color you're looking for. We recommend you always use caution tape to keep people from walking on the sealed surface. And don't put heavy items on the floor for 7 days. And to avoid scratching, never drag heavy items across a finished surface. Our pigmented sealers come in 8 basic colors. However, the color combinations you can create are endless. Advice and help is always just a phone call away. Good luck, and thanks for watching.